Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Viviana and I am 16 weeks out from my NPC show that I plan on doing, and today I'm going to share with you my update, check-in, and then our topic for today is why eat the same thing every day when it comes to bodybuilding and fat loss, and if you have to do that. Good morning everybody. So it is Tuesday, it is a check-in day, and as you can see I have my new suit for my check-in today from Angel's Bikini. So I'm gonna do my check-in and then see if there's any changes, and I will share my feedback with you. Look at this, super pretty. I love it. This is from Angel's Competition Bikini.
Baila, mi corazón, ven y mueve tu cuerpo al sol. Las luces brillan, la fiesta empieza, el reggaetón nos enloquece. Dame la mano, vamos a bailar. Siente el ritmo, déjate llevar. Disfruta el lugar, disfruta el momento.
What's up, Viviana? Happy Tuesday, and it looks like our average weight is down about a pound. And that trend is right where I want to be. That is the sweet spot. So we're not going to make any changes. Congratulations on your son graduating from the nursing program. That's awesome. So yeah, we're going to keep the cardio where it is. We're going to keep nutrition where it is. And right now the goal is just steady fat loss each week. I want to keep your calories high, your cardio low, as long as possible. And then when we have to make changes, we will be able to make changes in a positive manner. So let me know if you have any questions or how your week is going otherwise. But you know, I looked everything over here and all your scores are through the roof. Yeah, let's keep it going. Okay, thank you.
808s held down like a paperweight. She just wanna come around, but I made a way. Want my money, need it now, on a paper chase. Make the bass blow out with the 808s, out with the 808s, down like a paperweight. She just wanna come around, but I made a way. Want my money, need it now, on a paper chase. Make the bass blow out with the 808s, out with the 808s, way.
Okay, so I will start first with my check-in. This week there were no changes, and my check-in, we're doing so well with you know, everything when it comes to my wellness check, making sure that I am following the plan, training, all that fun stuff. Right now, as far as the weight, again, it seems to be stable. I am 16 weeks out now, so or by the time I post this video I might be 15 weeks out, but we shall see as far as the plan for the changes of next week. Now right now I continue to train 5 times out of the week, and cardio is 50 minutes for 5 times a week. So I get to rest from cardio 2 days, and I get to rest from training 2 days. And depending on my schedule, I do have days where I'll switch my cardio around, and that again is just depending what's going on in my life. Recently I've been having a lot going on, and I know I always say that, but whether it is work or in my personal life with my adult kids, my grandbaby, my husband, and then of course at work. But I might be moving things around as long as at the end of the week I have the amount of cardio that I should be doing and the amount of training that I should be doing. Everything's okay. Now, today's topic, I previously said I'm going to have some topics and kind of use them as answering questions from you know, Instagram or YouTube or people that have asked me. And today I'm going to talk about why eat the same foods. Now, it is not something that you have to do. If you are following macros, you probably have also heard flexible dieting. And so I know it's a little, or to some people, it's misleading or people misunderstand. It doesn't mean you can eat all that you want all the time, and it's not whatever, right? So macronutrients are your carbs, your fats, your protein. So that is kind of like what you follow, or at least for me, I don't follow a meal plan. I make my own meal plan. So I know it sounds a little bit confusing because you're like, okay, you do follow a meal plan, but you don't. And you do flexible dieting, but you don't. So this is what I mean by that. So I get my macros per week. So I'm just giving you an example. If I have 120 grams of protein, and that goes for the same thing for my carbs and my fat, but I'm going to give you an example for protein. If I have 125 grams of protein that I need to hit every day, I'm going to make sure that I get protein sources from whatever foods. Obviously, we want to make sure that we try foods with nutritional value that are going to make me feel good, that are going to, get me through the day, through my training. And so, yes, I get to pick the proteins that I want, but I have to make sure that it is 125 grams of protein that I get for that day. So that's when I will create my own meal plan. And so what that means is, for me, on the weekend, I say, okay, this is what I plan to eat for next week. I make my own menu or my own meals, more for my work time than it is at home. But even when I was a stay-home mom, I had a meal plan. I had, I picked my meals for the week. So, and let me tell you why. So if I were to pick chicken, eggs, which is what I normally eat, chicken, eggs, and turkey, right? And protein shakes or protein powder. Those are the proteins that I've chosen to do for the week. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that the amount of protein that I'm going to have, I'm going to split up in my meals and make sure that it totals to 125 for that day. Now, can you choose your meals the day of? Yes, but it makes it a lot easier if you were to eat the same foods every day, or when you're at work, or when you have your busy time, because you already know that you're having enough of your protein or your fats or your carbs. You know that your meal is ready. You don't have to worry about what am I going to eat. You don't have to wait that you're so hungry that you end up eating something that you might have not wanted to eat, or that it's going to make you go over your macros. And then it just becomes very simple for you to make sure that you're within your macros and putting it in if you have an app to count your calories and your macros. So it just makes it simple. It just makes it easier for you that you already have what you're going to be eating, and you could just copy and paste, whether it is your app or if you write it or you note it, and you know for sure the amount of calories that you're eating throughout that week. Now, the good thing with flexible dieting and knowing your macros is that you get to pick. You get to choose what are the sources that you want for your protein, for your carbs, and for your fat. That is what the difference. When you get a meal plan from a coach, you follow what they told you to eat, right? And sometimes you think that that's easier. Some of you might think it's easier. For me, it's not. Not that I've never done it. I've done it and I've actually been really good. I'm pretty good at following. But when it comes to your personal life, when it comes to your culture and your preference, you might not want what is on your meal plan. And that might actually not benefit you to be compliant, right? Because you're going to get bored of the food. You're not going to like what's on there. And if you're Hispanic like me, tacos are in our life all day, every day, right? So what we do, or what I do, is I make sure that I make a meal plan, I make a menu for myself, and I eat the same thing every day for that week. And if I want to change it, I can do that. I have that flexibility to do that. But we want to try to keep it all the same, not only for accountability, making sure that we're within our macros and the calories at the end of the week, but not to be worrying about, did I go over this? What am I going to eat? It just makes it a lot easier for you to be compliant, for you not to worry about it, and for you to make sure that you're following your plan. The other thing is the different foods. So if you're trying different foods and you're in a fat loss and you're preparing for a show, you want to know that those kinds of food are okay with you. And so you'll know if, they get you bloated, they make you feel sick, you get, certain feelings for those certain foods that might affect you. You want to make sure that you already know that, because if you're preparing for a show, you don't want to try new foods and you're a week until your show and you add broccoli and you hadn't had broccoli through your whole prep, and then here you are bloated, or here you are having some kind of digestion issues. And to avoid all that, you stick to your same foods that you already know are good for digestion. It helps you with your energy, it helps you feel good, and you know your macros, right? You know your calories, you're within your range or your goal. Now, the good thing about having a flexible diet and having macros, it is that if today I am going out with my family, if there is an event, there's something going on, I can move those things around. And if I was having a shake in the morning, I was going to have eggs for my second meal and chicken for my third meal, but then there's an event happening, I can swap that protein source for the meal that they're having at the party with vegetables and things and options that will benefit me, but at the same time will also be good for my macros or compliant with my macros. So I have that option to choose and move around my macros if needed, so that I can be compliant, but also be part of these events, be part of the things going on in my personal life. And, again, that is an option, but we don't have to eat the same thing all day, every day. It is just, it has its pros and cons, but it is up to you. Whatever helps you, whatever is going to make you be compliant, it's what's going to work, because it's not the same thing for everybody. A meal plan doesn't work for everybody. Macros don't work for everybody, but this is for me. So my personal way of doing things, my second meal, I think it's my meals are the only ones that I have the same thing of. And then I plan for my other meals, because when I get out of work, I have the flexibility of cooking at home, making my meal of whatever I feel like. And then if we're going to go out or if there's something going on, I already know that I can move things around within my macros, so that, again, I am consistent, accurate with my macros, but I'm also making sure that I'm good with my family time, my mental health. I'm not thinking about food. Now, I do want to tell you that when it comes to prep or prepping for a bodybuilding show, the closer you get to the show, the less the calories that you have to play around, which means the less macros. And so it becomes a little more difficult when it's time to go out and eat or spend family time or change your meals, right? Because there's less calories to play around with. Now, it is not something that you can't do. It is just you have to be very careful with the foods that you change around or move around for your macros. For me, it has been very, very simple. At the beginning, I started with a meal plan. So from following exactly what was in my meal plan, I don't know, 13 years ago, to knowing my macros and moving things around, for me, this is absolutely the easiest. And so I think that's why it's also easier for me to be compliant. And it just, I don't feel that I'm on prep. At times, I will tell you, like, you know, there is times where, like right now that I'm 16 weeks out, and I can have certain things depending on what's going on and what I want. But then there's some things that I do have to say no to because how calorie dense they are. And I am not going to end up eating that kind of food, which is going to bring me to 0 calories left or 0 macros left. And I'm halfway through the day. So you kind of have to, you know, figure out what is best for you. And where are you in your prep or your fat loss. But again, the eating the same thing is not something you have to do. It is just a better way for accountability. It's a better way for stress. You don't have to worry about what you're going to eat. And then the other thing is to know your body for digestion, to make sure that, you know, that those foods are something that your body works with you. And so overall, it is up to you, whatever works best for you. So again, I do both. I do my eating every day, the same thing, first and second meal mostly. I do my own, I do macros, so flexible dieting, but I also do my own meal plan so that I can know what I have planned for the whole week. I hope this is helpful and that you, you know, kind of understand that eating the same thing is not something you have to do. It is just works best for most. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time with my update, and we'll see if there's any changes. Thank you again.